To understand why you're going through the period that's causing you to make you want to give up. See, the devil has one mission only, is to rob you of your destiny. That's the devil's only job. If he can get you to give up, you have been robbed of your destiny. If he can get you to become a criminal, he robs you of your destiny. If he gets you to never follow your dream, chase your dream, he robs you of your destiny. If he causes you to think that this is all my life is, he has caused you to rob you of your destiny. You just have to understand that Satan has one job: to rob you of your destiny. When you have thoughts that are negative, that's not God. That's Satan. He's doing everything he can to keep you from being who God made you to be. You got to get focused on it. You got to understand that this hard time that you're going through is everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God. Every trial and tribulation you go through prepares you for the life God has for you. All the hard times. First of all, let me just say just one last thing. Now I got to take this picture. You cannot name one single thing that God has not brought you through. If he hasn't brought you through it, he's currently pulling you through it right now. And you know how I know that's true? Because you're sitting in here. Everything you ever thought you would not make it through, you got past it. Now, if you're currently going through something right now, guess what? You're going to get past that too. It always works that way. You always do.
Personal development. Mr. Shove started out with something very, very important. Let me give that to you. He said, it's not what happens that determines the major part of your future. He said, the key is what you do about it. And he said, if you will start that process of change, do something different the next 90 days than you did the last 90 days. Like picking up the books to read. Since we cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. What you have at the moment, Mr. Rohn, you've attracted by the person you've become. Now I said, well, how can I change all that? He said, very simple. If you will change, everything will change for you. To have more, you simply have to become more. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. And he said, it'll all change for you. Few little simple principles here. Once you understand these, it starts to explain so much. Shove said, here's the secret, Mr. Rohn. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. He said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Once I got that, it turned my life around. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Working harder on yourself than you do on your job. There's no such thing as job security. Here's what we know. This is a time that you have to look at you. You have to learn something new, something that you love. You can get training and coaching on from someone who's experienced and trained in that area so that you can have something else going for you other than a job. The young folks, they talk about BYOB, be your own boss. People are always asking me, what did you do differently than others? There are thousands of other speakers out here. And part of the process is I decided I wanted something new for myself. And I wanted to be able to control my own destiny. We've been conditioned, we've been trained for a job. Things have changed. You got to be an entrepreneur now. You want to create and have something that you determine how much you're worth, not somebody else. And today, you have to live life like you mean it. Things have changed. We've got to change. and the millions of people that are emboldened and determined to hold you down. You've got to be stronger than them and more determined than them. Everybody can use this. The value of improving yourself and working on yourself. One of the deciding factors, I was working on a job and I asked in advance, could I go on vacation? I asked. They told me no. I did it within the parameters of what you've laid out for me. Why are you telling me no? Because I can. And if you go, you won't have a job when you get back. This is why it's important to work harder on yourself than your job. Because he knew I have a family, I have a car note, because I had not been working on a transition skill. I was putting more time and more effort on the job than myself. And see, it's not enough to get an attitude and get upset. I put that energy into learning something new. Sick and tired of being sick and tired, to the extent I wanted to be my own boss. And so I decided to learn something new. You want to learn something new in this environment where millions of jobs are being lost and over 47 million jobs are projected to be lost because of artificial intelligence. Even jobs like being a waiter or working in McDonald's. Why? They've been replaced through technology. Hello? John H. Johnson, who, with a $500 loan from his mother, built a $4 million empire. He said something I always keep in mind. There's no defense against an excellence that meets a pressing public need. You have a story? Have you overcome some stuff? Have you had some setbacks, some failures? It's a pressing public need. How you got through that becomes a survival guide for people that's struggling with that right now. Your story is powerful. That's why Steve Jobs said the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. With all the uncertainty, what's major is to have your mind focused and don't play with your future. You take charge of your future. Learn something new. And don't take forever to do it. Learn it from somebody who's accomplished and achieved. Life is too short and unpredictable to spend 8 or 60 hours a week doing something that's not you. Get an attitude. Say, I'm not going out like this. See, you have something special. You know the major amount of money that corporations spend on what it takes for a corporation to grow? You know how much money they spend? Billions of dollars on the mindset for their corporate executives. People have the complexion of connection. Trust me on this. Work on you to improve you. So when I got off from work, unlike most people who go home and start watching the television, I started listening to motivational messages. I started reading 30 to 40 pages to retrain my thinking. The major things that prevent people from living a bigger life, number one, habit. And the other thing is distractions. When you have distractions, that means that if you're not conscious, it can cost you your life. That's big. I'm talking to my computer. I make my money now virtually. Yes, I do. We've gone from brick and mortar to click and order. You control your own future. I don't have to fly on airplanes anymore. I don't have to stay in stinking germ-infected hotels anymore. You was willing to learn something new that allowed me to be my BYOB. Help people, change people's lives, find a way to monetize their passion. You decide that you can bet on you.
Make sure that your ambitions is tied to your gift. The Bible says your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great men. Most people are not successful today because they never tie their work ethic to their gift. They keep tying it to their education and their passion. Once you learn the principles of success, you can apply it to anything. Do you know you can get rich selling tomatoes? The dude that used to cut my hair, he was making $1,500 a cut, and he cut my hair 5 times a week. He would finish up some weeks, man, that dude make $15,000 cutting hair. Once you learn the principles of success, you can apply them to anything.
Spend more time working on you than your job because you are the money.
I'm telling you, if you'll learn that simple little principle and start the process today, latest tomorrow, I'll give you tonight to think it over. And start this whole process of personal development, work on yourself. I'm telling you, you can so dynamically change your income, and economics is the least of the values that you can start earning in terms of equity. Work hard on yourself and develop a skill. All of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Money, no problem. Future, no problem. You just go to work on the right thing. Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you, and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your language. Work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change.
Where will you be in your business, in your life at 36 months? Not because you hope, because you decide. If there's something you once envisioned and now it's real, it's because you decided there's something you wanted so bad that you unleashed all your desire. You became obsessed with it. You didn't just envision it, you brought so much emotion to it that now it's in your life. It was once a dream, it was once a goal, and now it's in your life. It may have seemed impossible at one time. So how did you do it? Started with a concrete vision of what you wanted, and you focused on it continuously, didn't you? Wherever focus goes, energy flows. So why don't we tap into that power now for your business and life?
So many people have lost their day, and thus their week, and thus their month, and thus their year, and thus their whole life's agenda to distraction. What are some things you need to immediately stop doing in your life? Is it social media? Is it watching 7 seasons of a show every week? What do you need to stop doing to take back control of life? Also, what do you need to start doing? And what do you need to start doing every day, every week, every month, every year to be on your A game? Discipline buys you freedom to do what you want.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it, do it, make it happen, because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. It is all on you.
There is no capability difference between you and someone you consider to be an ultimate role model of success. The only difference is they've learned to manage their state and they've learned to control their mental focus. Whatever we concentrate our focus on consistently and strive to learn from, we will get great at. I don't care what it is. If you focus on it daily and you strive to be better, you're going to make little distinctions that will make you more and more effective every single day.
You should figure out what is it you desire in life and figure out the steps to get there and start working a plan to get there and minimizing everything else. Getting very clear on the mission, and working the plan. Everything else, guess what it gets? A no.
This is the truth of success. Most people can't succeed because they can't deal with all the old motherfuckers pulling them off the game plan. You're going to have to get real fucking comfortable sticking to your own plan and telling them no when they want to go out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you want to win, whether it's this year or next year or fucking ever, you're going to have to get real comfortable keeping your head on your plan and put the time into making yourself happy.
If you want to be successful, if you want to dominate in the area, you got to let everything go but that thing you're pursuing. You can't chase 2 rabbits and catch both of them. So you put your attention on one and go after it. You concentrate on winning. You concentrate on dominating. Listen to me. Meditate on this stuff. Focus on this stuff. And when we focus on that, that's where our energy is going to go. I need you to take ownership of your thoughts. I need you to say with me, this is my mind. These are my thoughts. I control what I think. Not the circumstances, not the situations. I control what I think. I choose where I'm going. And I will use my thinking. I will use my thoughts to make the rest of my life the best of my life.
What are you doing right now? Are you not doing anything? Are you doing something stupid? Or are you making progress? What are you doing right now?
The fear of failure was a big one in the beginning. Because what happened to me was, I was 27 years old and I was like miserable. And I just kept trying to figure out what my life was for. Because I discovered something, that the two most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. And at 27, I just hadn't figured out the why. And I walked into a comedy club October 8th, 1985. First time ever in a comedy club. Didn't even know comedy club existed. I actually went there on a dare. A girl dared me to go to this comedy club because she knew I was funny. I won amateur night that night. October 8th, 1985. I went to work the next day and quit my job. I won $50 and I went to work and quit my job. The day I quit, my boss, as I put my box on his desk and told him I was leaving to be a comedian, he talked me right out of it. He said, Steve, you're not even funny. He said, I've never heard you say anything funny since you've worked here. I've been selling insurance for 2 years. He said, are you kidding me? You've got a family. You put that stuff back on your desk and I'll give you your job back. But don't you ever come in here again with something ridiculous. You're going to be a comedian. I took all my back to my desk and put that back on my desk. Dude named Russell Middlebrooks came up to me and said, hey, Harv, I thought you was quitting today, man. I said, nah, I talked to Tom and he told me I wasn't funny. He said, he don't know you. He said, dog, you the funniest dude I know. He said, man, see. And then he looked at me, he was so hurt. He said, damn, dog, I told everybody you was leaving today. He said, man, I can't believe you letting them tell you what to do. And he swole me back up because I had been deflated. And I took that box right back in and I said, Tom, hey man, I'm really funny, I'm gonna make it. He said, I'll tell you what, you leave out this door, don't ever come back in here again. So I tried to shake his hand. I said, I'm not shaking your hand. He said, you're making a huge mistake leaving your family out like this. He was right, I became homeless. Look, I made a big mistake. That was right. I became homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years. Probably about 20 years after that, he was at a show. And he said, I came to the show, I saw this Steve Harvey. He said, I couldn't believe it was you. He was backstage, he said, oh my God, I always knew you were gonna make it. I said, man, me and that dude, man. But that was, overcoming that was my biggest. And none of my family believed it. The only family member I had that thought it was a good idea was my father. Because my father was really funny. He just grew up in a time for blacks that was very different. And he just said, son, if you think you can make it, get on out there and get discovered. My father was born in 1914. It wasn't good. My grandfather was a slave.
And let you be a carbon copy of everything and everybody that's out there. You have not recognized your individuality. You have not recognized that you're your own man with your own thoughts, your own gifts and talents, and more importantly, intentions. But in the midst of being gifted and talented and your own man or own woman, it is your attitude that has been compromising your altitude, your pride, your ego, your narcissism, being so consumed in self, not being able to coexist with others. I, me, and my comes out of your mouth. How many times can you go through your day without saying I, me, and mine? And flipping that into we, ours, and us? How often can you do it? I believe that if your career is not on the level that it's supposed to be on, you are all about sabotaging, self-sabotage, and self-defeat. You may believe because your mama taught you this or your daddy taught you this. You may believe that you don't deserve to find the things in life.
See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, it's a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life.
So as soon as an opportunity presents itself for your career and your life to go from here to where you should be, you figure out a way to fuck it up. Self-sabotage and self-defeat. It's something. It is a family negative gene that gets passed down. You have witnessed your mama, your father, or somebody in your immediate circle fuck up every opportunity that presents itself. Self-sabotage, self-defeat. You don't feel like you deserve the finer things in life. That's why every time the opportunity presents itself, you figure out a way to fuck it up. Now that could be in a man, that can be in a woman. Here's a man that respects you, wants to treat you like the world. In your mind, he doesn't challenge you. He doesn't beat you. He's not putting you down, being mean, evil, and condescending, so you don't feel like you deserve the finer things in life. So you figure out a way to fuck it up because in your mind, you're bored. You're not challenged. I don't know. I need a thug. Self-sabotage and self-defeat is real.
What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. Well, most people, ladies and gentlemen, when something happens to them, what they do is they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And they can't see the possibility of it being any different. Example, before April 1954, the common belief, the universal belief, because it had been tried again and again and again and people had failed, the belief was that man was not physically capable of breaking the 4-minute barrier, that he could not run a mile in less than 4 minutes. It had never been done. But here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Bannister came along, and he broke the 4-minute barrier. Since that time, up to this day, over 20,000 people have done it, including high school kids. What changed? 20,000 people, what changed? Here's what happened when they got on the track. They knew it had been done. There was a new belief about this goal that was unreachable. Knowing in their heart that someone had done it, that it's possible, that they could do it. And I'm saying that if you know anybody that had some goal, some dream, something they wanted to do, and they did it, then I'm saying that you know in your heart that if someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible. If someone can make their dream become a reality, that it's possible that you can make your dream become reality. And so as you begin to look at where you want to go, beginning to embrace that, it's possible. I'm blessed and highly favored. I've got a lot going for me. I got some good stuff in me.
I like my life. I like the things that are going on in my life. I'm not going to sabotage it. I love flying. I'm not a duck, not average. I'm an eagle. I am individually me. I fly high above the clouds. That's who I am.
And it's possible that I can bring my greatness out here in the universe. I can write my own book. I can have my own business. I can take the trip and travel around the world. It's possible. I can bounce back from adversity and reinvent my life. It's possible. Regardless of where I am, the things can get better for me.
Do you want to fly or do you want to remain average? Being attractive and fly and swagged out is not going to get you everywhere in life. It can only get you so far. You have to be a thinking man and a thinking woman. Your attitude will continue to compromise the altitude of your life and your career.
I'm thinking about two men who were fairly successful, similar background, educated. They worked for a corporation for many years, and they were among many people that were laid off. One went out looking for a job for several weeks along with the other one, and they faced disappointment and rejection again and again and again. They couldn't find any work, which is the story of many people across this country. One guy stopped. He became discouraged. He stopped going. He stayed home looking at television, became very argumentative and toxic with his wife, drinking beer, getting on the phone, talking to his other negative, unemployed friends, and he just gave up. The other guy kept looking for a job everywhere he could go. Every time he could get an opportunity, kept asking people, checking the newspapers every day, kept going everywhere he could, trying to find a job. He kept going, he kept going. He went to a place and said, look here, I tell you what, if you can't hire me, and I know you can use my talents, abilities, and skills, just let me do some volunteer work. You don't have to give me anything. I just want to work. I want to be busy. Guy said, okay, it's on you now, but don't expect me to give you anything. It's okay. This guy came in and worked. He was the first one there. The last one to leave was the best employee there. About 4 weeks later, one of the top managers quit. They were looking for a replacement. Guess who they selected? This other guy. This guy who was volunteering his time. He got the job.
See, that's the difference in how your life works out. It's not what happens, it's what you do. Now, see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? It's gonna be the same. And see, that way you can guess what the next 5 years are gonna be like. Look at the last 5. Because the next 5 are gonna be like the last 5, unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all.
What was the difference between the two men? Eyesight and mindsight. Eyesight is judging on what you see, judging according to appearances. But mindsight is how you interpret what you see. One guy said, it's not possible, it's over, I'm finished. I can't do it. He surrendered. I've faced rejection again and again, I'm not going anymore. There are no jobs out there. But this other guy, he felt that in spite of the no's and rejections, in spite of how bad the economy is, in spite of what the newspapers are saying, that it's possible that somebody somewhere will give me a job. He just kept going, thinking it was possible.
Keep going. Like, keep going. Don't quit. You're already in pain. You're already struggling. Like, get something for your pain. It doesn't make sense to go through pain and then not get nothing on the other side of it. Get nothing on the other side of it. Get nothing on the other side of it.